Hello and welcome to ESPNcricinfo's Videocast. Our guest today is a gentleman from Bangladesh, a country that really loves its cricket. In fact, when I look at Bangladesh's fan following, I compare that with the kind of fan following that I saw in Kolkata 25, 30 years back. It's not easy being one of the top run getters from that country with the kind of passion it has for its sport. The pressure is immense. Our guest today is Tamim Iqbal.
Thank you, Sanjay bhai. Thank you very much.
Right, as I do with most guests, especially there's going to be a lot of Indian viewership. We just want to understand Tamim Iqbal, how the journey started. We all know it's documented that Nafiz Iqbal and Akram Khan were your close relatives. But tell us about your first memory of getting fascinated by the sport.
Sanjay bhai, it was actually very easy for me to come into cricket because my family in Chittagong, where I'm from, is a joint family. So we uncle, aunties and all, we all stayed together. So as you know, my uncle was a youth star in Bangladesh, especially during 97 ICC trophy when Bangladesh qualified for the World Cup. And the scenario during those times when Bangladesh first qualified for the World Cup after winning the semi-final and then going on to win the ICC trophy was unreal. I still now I can say this. If Bangladesh ever wins a World Cup, the celebration that we had in 97 will never repeat. That kind of celebration we used to have. People used to come to our house, throw color water. It's all kind of things. So as a child, I was looking all of those things, and it was very easy for me to get attracted to cricket, to see what people, how much my uncle means to the people. So I always wanted to be a cricketer. And then my father, who is no more with us now, but he always wanted me to be a cricketer. And I was really, really close to my father. I have said this many times in my other interviews, in many interviews actually, that I am chasing my father's dream. The reason I play cricket is I'm chasing my father's dream. So so then it's all started. The under 13 stage, I got into under 13 teams. Slowly went to 15, 17, 19. And then I followed the process. 2006 was the year, was very crucial in my life. I thought, that was the year I was 16, 17, got a lot of school friends. Used to hang out with a lot of friends. I was maybe drifting a little bit away from cricket during that time. I didn't have any bad habits. None of my friends had any bad habits. It's just going around in a nice car, going to restaurants, all 16, 17 years old used to do. So till now, I haven't been left out from any sport, Sanjay bhai, whether it's national team, A team, whatever. There was once I've been left out was when Bangladesh started their HP camp. HP team. HP is an academy kind of a team. So that was the first time where I was left out. I still don't know the reason because I thought I did really well in in that domestic season and then all the matches I played for them. But that was the first time I got left out. The reason I'm telling you this, I think that 1 month changed my life. I told you that I was a bit drifting away from cricket. I was thinking, So then that team actually went to Pakistan for a series to play, and we were left 6 players in Dhaka to train. So we had 6 players and 12 coaches to look after us. So that 1 month was like really bad. I used to see the main team batsmen come and bat, and I used to stand at the end. We used to not get any batting or bowling. So those kind of things really hurt. And I thought that changed me as a person. And then I started playing the domestic, did really well and got into the national team.
So the transition was quick from 2006 where you drifted away and then you bowled a nice reverse swing to hit the bullseye. You made your debut for Bangladesh 2007 World Cup against India. It was an incredible game. India didn't get too many, around 190. You guys got it. What was interesting, I was looking at the scorecard. Is in that run chase, Bangladesh was 69 for 2. You were the second wicket down. We had got 51 already.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
about that particular inning. Was it just you being naive there, seeing the ball and hitting? Was there less pressure, being young and
No,
very
Sanjay
sort of
bhai,
new in the team?
I'll be very, very honest about
Sure.
that particular innings. I don't think I've said this anywhere, but the moment I was playing that game, I was not in that game, honestly, because
Okay.
I was too busy watching Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly, Yuvraj Singh, Rahul Dravid. I honestly am telling you, because I remember I was fielding. Uh, I was just watching them because I was too happy to be playing in the same ground with those kind of legends. Even Yuvraj, even Yuvraj Singh, even Dhoni. And the when the yes, we got to a very good start with our bowling, and then when they scored 190, we knew that we have a chance. I went to bat. The first thing I remember of thinking, facing Zahir Khan, I said, will I be able to see 140-kilometer ball? Because I have not played a 140-kilometer ball before. So I was very worried. I wanted to see that what's happening. So the first ball he bowled, I somehow managed to defend. I said, no, I can actually see. And I was lucky that the next ball I got a half volley and it went for 4. So from there, I got a little bit of confidence, and then I just keep on swinging, and it kept on connecting. It's not if you ask me to go through that innings, I can't actually go through because it doesn't come into my memory, because I was just too happy playing against my heroes. But whatever happened was great for Bangladesh cricket. It was a great thing for Bangladesh cricket, because that gave us some belief, not only to the players but only to the fans back home, because you know how passionate they are, and if you don't give them any kind of result, some of that passion might come down. So that gave hope to the people back home that yes, this team maybe can do it.
I'll tell you what, Tamim, that innings was very important because at that stage, Bangladesh was still searching for self-confidence as a team at the international level. 190 may seem like a small score. If not for your innings, if there was a typical slow start and a build-up, who knows, nerves could have got the better of some of the players. But because you went there, young, fresh mind, just happy to be there, you expressed yourself, and 51 runs out of 69, that was a big contribution. So it may not look like 100 that you got and stayed till the end, but that is what you call an impact innings. That would have really helped Bangladesh in the run chase.
Yes, Sanjay bhai, because I think the reason they picked me in the first place, because when they picked me, Bangladesh somehow had a settled opening partnership where Sharian Nafis was there, Mehrab Jr. was there, Javed Omar was there. So I don't think there was a reason to pick me just before the World Cup, because it's such a big stage. I was asking Habibul Bashar just a few days back. I said, why did you pick me? You didn't have to pick me, because probably nobody will pick a 17-year-old for such a big tournament. So he said that we wanted someone who can give us quick runs. So he exactly said that. And I remember just before the World Cup, we had a small tri-nation series in West Indies versus Bermuda and Canada. So I didn't score in those games. I remember the chief selector came to me and said, he hugged me and said, it doesn't matter whether you score or not. We are going to play every game from now till the World Cup. Till even if you don't score in World Cup, doesn't matter. You're going to play the whole game. That's my promise to you. He was the chief selector. He said that, and honestly, 17-year-old, my heart became this big automatically.
Do Bangladesh fans like Bangladesh beating Pakistan more or beating India more? And tell us what it is like, when you're playing against India, because when we were players, oh God, the pressure to beat Pakistan was immense. So tell us about this, which is, the opposition the fans want you to beat more.
I think because India is such a strong team and India is such a big team, So if you win against India, is something else. It's I don't think it comes through hatred or no, we have to win against them. It's just a success that you're beating the best team in the world. It's that kind of a mentality. Pakistan, India, you beat any team like this team. These are big teams with a huge history behind them. I think it's a big win. It's a big win for us.
So tell us, what is the kind of celebration, adulation that you get, after having beaten India, or for that matter, success as well as Tamim Iqbal, because that is something that I've found very unique now in Bangladesh, because I compare Bangladesh's reaction and the fanfare that you have around your players, around cricket in Bangladesh. It's similar to how it was in the eastern part of India, Kolkata 20, 30 years back. As a kid, when I went to Kolkata and I saw the reaction of the crowd, and I see that kind of mood, in the fans in Bangladesh. So tell us about the social structure, the fanfare, and you as Tamim Iqbal, a big name in Bangladesh cricket, how you're treated by the Bangladeshi fans on a day-to-day basis and at the cricket ground.
Sanjay bhai, it's, because we are so cricket crazy nation, and also our supporters are very, very emotional. They get very emotional very quickly. So whether you win, they'll take you at the top. If you don't do well, they'll make sure that you're in the ground. So I think we are lucky to have that kind of support, because we play Zimbabwe, we play England, we play India, whoever. People are there in the stadium to support us. It doesn't matter who are we playing. So to get that kind of support is definitely as a big plus point. And the way they treat us, I think it's very good. The respect we get when we go into the ground or wherever we go, the respect we get is immense. I think you don't see those kind of things in other part of the country. You probably see this in Pakistan, in India, in Bangladesh. But if you go to New Zealand, if you go to South Africa, you don't see all those things. But we are very blessed to have all those things. You walk into a restaurant, the way people will come to you, greet you. This kind of things is unique. I think everybody dreamed to have these kind of things, and we actually get it. And sometimes, when I'm with my family, and then people keeps on coming, and then keeps on asking about autographs or a selfie. I sometimes get annoyed, but in few minutes I make sure that my mind is in the right state. I said, this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. If they are coming, it's your responsibility to go to them and make sure they're happy. I think the biggest motivation for us cricketers, even whenever we are playing a difficult game and whenever we are in a very big game, that is the talk between us in that huddle. Remember that huddle that we go through just before the game. I think if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for them. Yeah. It's the people that comes to support you every day. And I think we have to go better. I think we should have been a step ahead by now. But I think this is the real time. We need to take another step to take this team to the next level and give something back to the nation. Because when we don't do well, I've seen it from many commentators. I've heard it from many commentators, many people, that Bangladesh doesn't need any extra motivation. They have the motivation in the ground because with the people they have.
While on that topic, 2003 World Cup in South Africa, 2007 as well. There's one thing that I noticed as an expert watching Bangladesh cricket, that physically, Bangladesh players weren't quite measuring up with the opposition, especially when they play teams like South Africa or Australia. But that seems to be changing a little bit, isn't it, Tamim? Because at that time they looked physically, which was the case with India as well, mind you. In the earlier stages, Indians also looked a little smaller, not as strong and athletic. So I felt that was going to be a big challenge for Bangladesh to become world class as a team. But that's starting to happen now. It's visible.
I think, Sanjay, you're very, very right on this. I think it took us a long time to understand how important the physical part of the game is. Even, I think, I will say in last maybe 3-4 years, we started to understand, okay, you need to have you make sure you're fit enough. You have to make sure that you look good on TV. You don't have a big belly and go walk into the ground.
Yeah, Tamim Iqbal I'm seeing now in 2020 is slightly different from the one that was getting all those hundreds in 2010. That I'll say.
Yeah. So yes, Sanjay, especially for me to understand this, I always had a mindset. I said, if I'm scoring runs, it doesn't matter how do I look. I had a very bad mindset, Sanjay. I have no shame to accept this. Yeah. So, I was not scoring enough, but I was thinking I'm scoring enough. Okay. I was looking horrible. Okay. And everything. I think it was during 2015. If you see me in 2015, Sanjay bhai, I was weighing 9 kilos more what I am weighing now. Okay, 2015 World Cup. And I actually started working very hard on my fitness. I think I have to give credit to my trainer, who is Mario.
And what are the specific differences, Tamim, that you see since you've started working on your fitness, where you felt, wow, then I'm able to do this now because you're working on your fitness more?
Sanjay bhai, yes, with lesser weight, more fitness, that's fine. But there are a lot of advantages, Sanjay bhai. You don't feel tired as much. You can reach to the ball quickly. You can think more positively. But the most important thing is you feel good about yourself.
It's interesting you mentioned that because, I've had the privilege of talking to Virat Kohli when he played one of his great innings, a very physically demanding innings, like at Mohali against Australia World T20. Tremendous performance by Dhoni and Virat. And then you get an opportunity to talk to them immediately, where they don't have time to be politically correct. They're driven by adrenaline. And the first thing he always says, is that, all the work that I put in the gymnasium, this is when it pays off. So he connects that immediately with all the physical work that he's done. And it's amazing, where cricket has now made this sort of transition into being a really physical sport, and it's actually helping people deliver their skills better.
Sanjay bhai, I must say this. This is not because I'm talking to an Indian commentator who was ex-cricketer. I have to say this. I think because India is our neighbor country, and we follow a lot of things. What's happening in India, I'm sure, because we are neighbors, so that happens very naturally. But as soon as India started to change regarding fitness, I think that impacted Bangladesh the most.
Oh wow!
I think that impacted the Bangladesh the most. And I have no shame to tell you this. Okay, I think this should be out. I think when I sometimes, in 2-3 years back, when I sometimes used to see Virat Kohli doing all those gym things, running around, I used to be ashamed of myself. I honestly used to be ashamed of myself. I said, see, this is a guy who is probably my age, doing this kind of things, doing training so much, who has so much of a success, where me maybe is not doing the half of what he's doing. At least if I can't match his level, at least try to follow his path. Maybe I can reach 50%, 30, 40, 50, 60%, whatever. And then we have a great example in our team as well, who is Mushfiqur Rahim.
Yeah,
I think I won't go to his cricketing part. I'll go the way he manages himself regarding fitness. I think he's someone that we actually look up to now. Yes, there is a thing with Virat Kohli setting examples, but also Mushfiqur Rahim in Bangladesh team can be an idol. Can be an idol to a lot of young players.
Now let's talk about you. We've talked about you not being very happy with your fitness and stuff. And yes, you were slightly overweight in that time, 2010. A fantastic series in England, which really made the world notice you, Tamim. So tell us about that particular series. You got 200s there, you got a 55, and most notably the strike rates, during those innings. There's one inning, 103 of 103 balls, 108 of 94 balls, and an attack that had Jimmy Anderson, Graeme Swann. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so just before that, I had a broken wrist before that England series. So I was not sure that I'm going to play those 2 test matches. So I went to the doctor and doctor said that it's probably best to have a surgery before that. Because it was Lords, Sanjay bhai, and somebody in my team told us that you're probably not going to play a Lords test match in next 10 years because we probably don't have a series against England in England for a long years. And I remember I was so close to my father, Sanjay bhai. I remember him saying, Lords is the Makkah of cricket. Yeah, he used to say this because Lords has so much of a history. And I said, I cannot miss this. I cannot miss this chance. So I used to take, Sanjay bhai, at least 4 or 5 painkillers before I used to play that game because I had a broken wrist. But the best thing that happened to me in 2010 was I was not thinking too much regarding the Duke ball because that was the first time I was playing against Duke ball. Secondly, I was not thinking about Jimmy Anderson, not thinking about how good is Graeme Swann. I just went there to enjoy my batting. I think sometimes it's the best thing because you don't think about too much about opposition, because as soon as you start thinking about opposition, then you start thinking about, okay, Jimmy Anderson, in swing, out swing, you're out.
900 in Test match cricket, 4 overseas. That is something that all of us from the subcontinent are always looking at, hundreds overseas. That must give you a lot of satisfaction, especially hundreds in England, New Zealand, because these are completely different conditions. Is this something that you especially look forward to? Overseas, got to prove myself?
Sanjay, I actually like batting overseas more than home. You know why? You know why? Because we used to play in a very, very slow kind of a wicket, where for batsmen it's not fun, Sanjay. You don't get to play on the rise. You don't get to play all those kind of things. If you see my batting, I like to play on the rise. I take on balls, but in Bangladesh kind of a wicket, it's very difficult for me sometimes. And now we probably are playing against more spinning wicket. It's very difficult as an opener because there's one ball that will get you out. You don't
enjoy those kind of pitches. It's a bit like Tendulkar actually. He hated those low bounds, Indian rank turners, and also you also don't enjoy
any batsman, Sanjay, won't enjoy that thing. Yes, when we go to overseas, sometimes we get good wickets. At least you can play your shots. It's difficult, but at least you can play your shot. And if you play it hard enough, the ball hits you, flies over the slip. Where in Bangladesh, it will still carry to the slip because of the low bounce. And I think, Sanjay, not many people know this, but this is a very important thing that people should know. You will see a lot of Bangladeshi people, a lot of Bangladeshi players averaging in 30s, 35s. Okay. Yeah. But one thing you have to also consider is Bangladesh plays in very difficult wickets back at home, especially when we are playing against spinners. Not easy to score runs there. Yeah. Even 30s, 35 is counted as 60s, 70s there.
Yeah.
And then when we go overseas, Sanjay bhai, we always get green wickets. We don't get good test wickets because it's easy for them to knock you over because everybody knows green wickets, Bangladesh will struggle.
You know how you can counter that? India does that now because if you have your own 3 world-class seam bowlers.
True. I said from Bangladeshi batsman point of view, we don't actually get to play in very good flat wickets too often. When we go overseas, we play green wicket. When we play home, we play on a spinning track. But I think there's always a way. You can always improve. I'm not someone, Sanjay bhai, will come and give excuses. I think we, as a team, we should need to do a little more better. And you are exactly right, Sanjay bhai. As soon as we have 3 weapons like India, they will also think before giving us a green wicket.
Right. We're coming to the end of this discussion. Just a couple of things that I wanted to ask you. Tamim Iqbal, the batsman, is he changing? Because when I look at your scores, you had a great start to your test career as well, away from home in New Zealand, I think. Didn't get hundreds, 2 good scores, past 50. And you got a string of scores which could have been hundreds. Is that changing, or is something that you don't want to think about? Because 100 can sometimes be an obsession. You could get an 80 every time as an opener and set a great foundation for your team. But is that something that is part of your thinking process now?
Sanjay bhai, I always felt like the amount of 80s and 90s or 70s I have scored, especially in ODIs and in Test matches. If I could have convert those runs at least half of those, I could have been a different level by now. Imagine, I think I think 70 to 90, I have at least 15, 16 times in ODIs. I think so. It's somewhere there. It should be somewhere there. If I could have transferred at least 7, 8 of them, I could have scored almost 20, 21, 22 centuries, which is a good number to have. Ian Bishop actually told me, I think the first 130 games in ODIs, I scored 400. And the last 60 where I've scored 900. So actually the numbers are actually going up. But yes, I will like to do more. I think I've missed opportunities, but I like to do more.
I think you're on the cusp of it because people don't realize it takes a long time for that to happen. Because very often when teams are sort of establishing themselves at the highest level, when a batsman gets a 50, say in England or South Africa, Australia, from a smaller nation, weaker team, he feels so great about the 50 that the will to get the next 50 is not as much, and that has happened to all teams. India fortunately have had batsmen in the 70s and 60s and even 50s who still got double hundreds on the big stage. So India had that batting sort of culture, which is brilliant. Okay, one of the final couple of questions left. One is I want to ask
Sanjay, can I tell you one thing about you? The thing you mentioned is very important, Sanjay. Sanjay, I remember the moment I walked into the national team. Okay, I knew if I scored a 30, I'm going to play the next game, next 2 games. So that kind of a mindset we were in. Okay, so that 30 slowly became a 50. So I knew if I scored a 50, I felt like a king. I felt like I've scored a double hundred in ODI.
Yeah.
I scored. That's the reason you'll see a lot of people scoring 50.
True.
50s was like if I'm playing a 3-match series, Sanjay bhai, if I score 150, I thought it has a brilliant series I had. So that kind of a mindset we used to have. Now, probably now the younger generation are coming, they know that hundreds matters. If you don't score hundreds, it doesn't matter. Now that's starting to change a little bit. I think with generation to come, I think this will, like same as India, that what you said, will start to change as well. But you understand what I mean, that the mindset we used to have 30s to now 100, it took a long time.
I just want to know what kind of a mood you have in the dressing room now before a big game. Do you see a change? You started off in 2007, 2018, 19, 20. Are you seeing a change in the dressing room when you're playing a stronger team on paper?
Sanjay bhai, I can tell you, maybe 5, 6, 7 years back, as soon as we used to leave the hotel, we used to know the result. If we are playing a big team, I know whatever happens, we used to know that. Okay, we'll bat well. I'll try and score a 50. We'll try and get a 3 wickets. We'll be happy scoring against India 50. Very good. Winning, losing, no, not a chance of winning. Honestly, okay. But now we don't think that way. That is the biggest change we have. That is the biggest change. When we sit in the dressing room, we know we need to win, and we can win. We have that belief. That is the biggest change that has happened to Bangladesh cricket in last 10 years. And even with the fans, if fans knew that they're going to lose, I'm sure they will lose interest. But even the fans knows that there's a chance. There's a chance. That's the biggest difference we had.
Final question, Tamim, and then we'll let you go. 2007 one-day international debut, 2020 captain of Bangladesh. It's taken a long time. Reluctant or what was it? And looking forward to it?
Yes, looking forward to it now, Sanjay bhai. I'm a kind of an individual that captaincy never excites me. Well, there are people who wants to be a captain, who dreams to be a captain of their nation. Okay, me is someone that I never think about it. I am always felt that if I'm not captain, I'm good enough. If I lead the team through my performances, that's good enough. You don't have to be a captain to be a leader. And I think that's it. But when the opportunity came this time, okay, one of my coaches told me, try it, do it. It's better. It's easier to say, I don't want to do it. And later to regret, I had an opportunity to lead my country and I didn't took it. Things can be different. I said, the coach told me that do it, give your best, give your 100%. There's always an option. If you don't like it, you can always go to the board, ask them, you're not good enough. So I am someone, Sanjay bhai, if whatever I'll do it from my heart. And I'm not a very experienced captain, Sanjay bhai. I don't do captaincy a lot in domestic games either. Okay. So I'm bound to do mistakes, Sanjay bhai, but whatever I'll do, I'll make sure that I keep the team at number one and then think about anything else. And I'm bound to do mistakes, Sanjay bhai. And we'll see how I go. If I'm doing justice to my job, I'll continue, Sanjay bhai. And if I'm not, I'll be someone to put my hand up and say thank you.
Well, I tell you what, it's taken a long time for you to finally say yes. But from this little chat, I feel it's the right time for you to say yes. You seem to be in a great mind space. You've had the experience beyond. I think you'll do a fine job because you seem to have the right ideas. You want to take Bangladesh forward. So my prediction today is that I think you'll be a fine captain. And you've got some good captains over the years. That's one thing you can say with Bangladesh because they've had some good ones. So Tamim, thank you so much for this chat and all the best for your future innings as captain and of course as player. And this is a conversation that I've really enjoyed. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Pleasure, Sanjay bhai. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamim. Thank you.
Thank you.